We're switching matters right away into all matters love. Speaking, of course, of relationships, we premiered this segment a couple of weeks back and got into it really heavy during Valentine's season. But now what we want to talk about is the broken side of relationships. Why so many marriages are failing, why there's so much infidelity in this country, and how we can get back to where we really started from, which is our traditions, our cultures, staying together through thick and thin. Is it worth it? Well, my next guest can tell you. Her name is Beatrice Olimo. She is an amazing life coach, and she's here to give us that advice. Please welcome her to the show, everybody. Hi, Beatrice. How are you? Good to see you too. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Right, before we get into all matters love, and you know, relationships are such a hot topic. You've been doing this for a number of years now.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your career and how you got into coaching, and especially in relationships.
So I have a background in education. That's my background. I went to school in the States, and I trained as a teacher. And when I came back, I was working at a school. But there comes a time in life when you are really trying to identify who you are, when that career doesn't fit you anymore. And then back to the States, and I did a business track, and I moved back to Kenya. I wanted to start a business, but I didn't know what business to start. So I thought about who could help, and I found a life coach.
Yeah.
And their professional advice was very instrumental, that I decided that that's the kind of business I wanted to go in.
Nice.
Then I had to go back to the States again to get certified as a life coach.
Wow,
Yes.
amazing. Okay, so
Yes.
those visits have paid off, obviously.
Yes.
Because now you're back permanently.
Yes,
and
I am.
helping many Kenyans.
Yes.
Why do you feel that the issues and matters of the heart, issues of love, relationships, marriage, why do you feel like that's such a huge topic right now in Kenya? And have always been, actually. It's not just right now.
Yes. Relationships is, you know, we were wired for relationships.
Yeah.
We were wired to be together. We were wired to love and to feel loved. And it's a natural desire for us to want to connect with another human being. But there's a big problem because we do not know how to navigate. You know, sometimes we really pray, we want the man, and we find the relationship, but we do not know how to navigate it when it's there.
Yeah.
So as a result, so many people do not know how to, you know, they don't know who they are in relationships, they lose themselves, you know, and there's so communication breakdowns happen all the time. People are struggling in marriages because people are unable to communicate with each other openly, genuinely. And you know, it's just a big topic, not just in Kenya but globally, because people are looking for that connection, but they don't know that it starts from within.
Right.
It starts from them, and them identifying who they are and what they have to offer, not going out looking for it.
Right.
But having them see that they are the source of love, and being able to bring that love to another human being.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I feel like some of the issues that crop up a lot are to do, as you've just said, with communication, understanding each other, values, which means that I think the reason why it's such a hot topic is because you're dealing with a whole other human being,
Yes.
not just yourself. And so there's a lot to consider when you look at someone's background, where they come from, who they are, their value system.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about this consideration. If you are going through a tough time in a marriage or in a relationship, that it's important to consider the other person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you come together and you're in love, you, just like Hobby said, it's, you know, you have different skill sets. You have, you're raised up differently. You have different perceptions and views of the world. And you're trying to bring two independent people together to live together.
Yeah.
Sometimes it seems like an impossible mission impossible, like Tom Cruise movies. But you have to be willing to develop a totally different skill set, and being able to study this human being and study what they like and study what ticks them, or what makes them angry or what makes them sad, because we are raised up differently. We have different backgrounds, and you know, we were taught different things about love growing up. We have our different perceptions of love. We have you know, we saw what our parents did, and sometimes we're trying to pass that to our partners, and they were brought up differently. So what I tell people is, learn the skills of communication, and learn to be curious about another human being, because you can always learn so much. But the thing happens, what happens is we find someone, we're excited the first month, and then we stop getting curious. We start assuming that we know everything. We start assuming that we know how they feel. We don't allow the space to get to know them even deeper. And then we hit communication breakdown, you know, or an emotional pothole in the love journey, where you can't communicate with them. Because some people are very sensitive, some people are not sensitive. People like different things. Yeah, personally, I'm in a relationship right now, and I'm totally learning how to develop. You know, I'm learning about another human being. Yeah, and some things I say, he takes the wrong way. I'm like, that never used to upset us growing up. Yeah, so it's just navigating that and just being able to learn and study them and studying yourself at the same time.
Conflict resolution is a big deal when it comes to relationships, because really, if these two people didn't want to be together, if it's that difficult, most people throw in the towel, break up and call it a day. But they're still together, they're still there, there's something in common that they still have, but they're going through conflict. How do you begin to, first of all, recognize this conflict and then start working on resolving it?
Yes, so when two people come together, you have to admit that at some point in this relationship, there's going to be conflict. Any relationship without conflict is not a relationship. It's one person just saying yes, 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 because you have different views of the world and different, you know, perceptions. So there's always, you're always going to run into some conflict. So it's good to start and know that when this happens, what are some questions you're going to ask yourself? Because sometimes we dive into our own insecurities when our other partner or you know, whoever they are trying to tell us something, and we take it personal, and we think that we're being attacked based on how we were raised, how we were brought up. You know, our parents never told us things. You know, people, you know, maybe you're used to a relationship where things are just under the carpet, people walk on eggshells. So it is paramount that you learn the skills of conflict resolution and find out when this happens, how are you, what's the tonality, what kind of energy are you going to bring into it? Are you going to be the person who is insecure, who, you know, you're not open to feedback, you're threatened by feedback, you're afraid, you know, you attack, and mostly men are very demeaning in their tonality sometimes. And as women, we cave in and we say everything is okay. You know, we close up and we don't want to communicate.
What's wrong? Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Line,
I'm okay. I said I'm okay. And that is, you know, that does not take the relationship forward. So in every relationship is different, and different people handle different conflicts differently. So there is no one way of how to go about it, but it's you guys sitting down and deciding that when you recognize, when you smell conflict, this is the first thing we're going to do. This is the first question I'm going to ask myself. Do we want to be in the same team, or do we want to be attacking each other? You know, so the husband on the other side, the woman on this side, and then now you're attacking each other. Or do we want to be in the same team and look at the problem objectively and then bring solutions to it? So that takes a lot of courage, and that takes a lot of honesty and authenticity and a lot of emotional intelligence, because sometimes when our feelings are hurt, we take it very personal.
We lash out.
Yes, we lash out.
And so because you've hurt me, I have to hurt you. And then now we're upset at each other. Now there's nothing happening, and we're both miserable. There is a flip side to that coin. There are people who you can hurt them, but they'll take that hurt outside of this relationship. They'll go find healing somewhere else, which then of course brings in infidelity, which has become the norm in this country. I don't get that. Talk to me a little bit about why infidelity happens, why it continues to happen, and how we can break this cycle.
So that's a very big topic.
It's huge.
It's huge.
That's a whole other day.
That's a whole other day, year, month, or something like that. But when there's that communication breakdown in a relationship, when you feel like you cannot honestly and openly speak to your partner, then when you feel like you're shunned, or you're not heard, or you're not appreciated, then it's normal as human beings you're going to look for that connection from somewhere else. I'm not validating, I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but as human beings, even if you don't find another man, another woman, women, we get on the phone, right? And you talk to all your girlfriends, you talk to your mom, you talk to everybody.
Everyone who listens, even strangers.
Even strangers.
They can listen, you'll tell them.
Right.
Yeah.
I have been like at a restaurant and the waitress is telling me about, you know, because we want to be accepted, we want to be heard, we want to be seen, we want to be felt. And when our partner is not giving us that, people are going to look for that somewhere. So this is where we have to grow up. And when you're deciding, when you're picking a partner or when you're already in a relationship, you want to look for, is this someone I can openly communicate with? What's the communication line here, channel? Is it free flowing, or is it just one person speaking down to another person?
Okay.
So you want to be aware of those patterns of communication early in the relationship, even before you make that huge commitment. But when you're already there and there's a communication breakdown and you're already married, you can have a candid conversation with your partner. If there's people who are committed in the relationship and they want to take it forward, you can have communication conversations and be able to share openly how you feel when things go wrong, and come up with concrete solutions. Like, when this happens, we will run into this. Recently I talked to my boyfriend. We had a communication breakdown, and I felt like I was, you know, running back to that place where it was closed off. And we had a really good conversation afterwards. And we decided that next time we can bring some more humor into it.
Right.
You know?
Because fights will happen.
Conflict will happen. Yes, conflict will happen.
It's about what you do.
What you do and how you know, how you talk.
So you guys came up with a plan?
Yeah, we
That's
came up
so
with a plan.
good.
Yeah, like bring some humor, like say this, that will remind me that I'm off, you know. And things like that, they do help.
Right.
They do help, yes.
Now, looking at, of course, relationships and people who need help and who are seeking help, sometimes it's so key that you look outside of your relationship. Coaching, counseling, relationship advice, very, very difficult for people to admit that they're in a bad place. Because by the time you're seeing a counselor, you've admitted to both of you that something here is wrong. Why is it crucial that even if things are not wrong, that you are speaking to someone about your relationship, your love situation?
Yes. So if you study people who are really successful in their relationships, in this case, they're people who are open to feedback. They have mentors, they have coaches. Actually, I was talking to my boyfriend that I want to find a mentor. We don't have to wait for things to be bad, but we want to find someone who is already successful, and we want to study their patterns. How do they create that success in their lives? So talking to a therapist, talking to a life coach, talking to whoever you talk to is not a sign of weakness. In fact, it's a sign of strength. It's a sign of someone who really wants, you know, success for that relationship. If you're building a business or if you're building a house, you'd go to an expert to give you expertise on how to build that building. And many times we put a lot of effort on our businesses, our career, but we forget our relationships.
You'll take your cut for service.
Yes.
You'll pay as much money as possible. But for your heart?
Yeah, for your heart, you're like, oh, he'll figure it out. And then we treat the people that are in our lives, people that we should love, we treat them with like crap. We don't respect them because we haven't trained ourselves to learn. Learning love is not easy. Someone once said that common sense is not always common practice. You know, we know to do many things. We know to love, we know to be kind, we know to be gentle, we know to do all these things, but are we doing them on a scale of 1 to 10? No. So so you know, you need to get honest feedback. So you look at your relationships on a scale of 1 to 10. Are you happy? What's the communication line? How are you able to interact in your relationship? If we talk to your husband somewhere, if you talk to your wife somewhere, what kind of feedback would they give? And is it important to you that this relationship moves forward, that this person that came into your life at a time when you so much wanted them to come into your life, and remember how much you treated them, the attention you gave to them, the time. Remember how you got the attention back then. If you start doing those things right now, things are going to turn around.
It's true. But you know, I also have to say that there's a lot of pride sometimes. So that's why you're worried, if I'm nice, if I take her out, she'll think something is up, if this happens. But no, I think just start. The person that you love.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. Get the ego out of the way and take your wife out that date that she's longing for.
Yeah.
And do something fun for your man.
Exactly.
You know him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And yes. Show him that you appreciate him. Think about all the things they're doing. Your partner is doing for you. You know, that you have a roof over your head. They're paying school fees for the kids. Your wife is cleaning the house, doing whatever. She's working. She's taking. If we just get back to that place of gratitude and sit down and appreciate and see how important these people are in our lives, then we can start there, just from a point of gratitude.
Absolutely.
We can start from there.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here. Isn't she great, everybody? Yeah. Definitely.